Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, B-Farm, thinking right out here in the lab where I do what I do for you. Oh, I'm in the books too. Nice lesson for you coming up. You know the deal. Let's go. Rightisms, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in to receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission. That's what I'm on. Is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? So let's get that together. I asked the question, do you know you? Yeah, it's rhetorical, but if you know how to answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous, avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and to Maya, be true. We're still on the path of overcoming failures on the spiritual journey through life with 13 steps. I think maybe 5 or 6 right now, but this is a good one. How to earn divine grace, right? Let's talk about how to earn divine grace. That's the question. Answer, show devotion to God. How? And what happened? You will gain super conscious state of mind. Those are 3 things that you should strive to make happen for you. So let's go over it right quick. I'll make a lesson out of this one. I hope I can get this across. Let's start with right thinking, divine grace. What's divine grace? Let's talk about it. I'll let you know in the end. God does not grant nihas. Nihas is a spiritual awakening, spiritual enlightenment. This is not within God's power. Well, I don't got to calm down. I keep telling you, when you start a conversation off with I thought, stop yourself and listen, pay attention. You might not want to ask that question. After you paid attention and learned something, you might get the answer before you even ask. Within God's power. That's not what God do. We humanize God. God ain't man. But they say, yeah, he's not the physical man in his image, meaning we can articulate, we can create mentally, we can manifest. Though that's what God do through nature. We got the same power within ourselves. That's what makes us God, like in the flesh. But that spark, as a spark of the divine, which every human being is initially what? One with God, and as such partake in divine, having divine power. We all do. Men got the power to procreate. Women got the power to what? Receive and create and carry. So we all have power. Okay. Not knowing we have that power is the problem of a lot of us. Why? We don't know who we are. That's the goal for me to help you with that. That's it. Whatever else is going on, this is my lane. The soul as the spark, as that spark, which is of God, it has led itself. Watch this. The soul has led itself to what? Ignorance. Okay? And so by itself, if it led itself into ignorance, what is it? You made that bed, you sleep in it. So it must lead itself to what? Awakening. From ignorance to enlightenment. You have to do that by practicing, you ready? Daily devotion to God. It has the effect of what? Turning the mind towards what? The divine. And once you do that, this leads to what? purity of right feeling and right thinking. Ding, 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 ding. There you go. It starts with the feeling, and then you can think about it, and then you can employ it. That's the action. But essentially, it is a worship of the divine where within oneself. Religion got you worshiping a God outside yourself. Again, I ain't doing that. Just I don't do that. That's why. And when the divinity within us is worship, how? Not by praying, no. Not by wearing amulets, no. Living right. How about that? So what you gotta do. As opposed when you worship the God within you, worship as opposed to what? The God of the world. Okay? It allows who? That divinity that's in you to emerge as the preeminent aspect of you, and your mind now awakens to what is presence. You know you and God are one. That's a hell of an experience, okay? Been there, had it. I'm trying to get anybody I could to get it. Why? It's a beautiful thing. And you can have it for yourself. Why? You got to put the work in. That's how I got it. It didn't just happen. So that's my point. And I had a guy today, the old wise guy out this one of my, he said it's like explosions. And he explained it better than I could. Why? It didn't happen to me. So he knows why. He just explained it just the same way. In the seventh chakra, when it's opened up, it just like skyrockets. Same thing like get high. You hit that, you get that good, you just, oh yeah. So I get it, but that's an altered state that you got from doing something. When you can get it from the inside, that's what spirituality is all about. That's waking up and realize who you are. And that's the true nature of your personality, which is not your egoistic notion, but here to therefore your unknown divine spirit God within. Again, Amun means hidden. Where? Inside of you. In your consciousness, you have to go and search for him, not outside yourself. People think they gotta go to Tibet, they gotta go to Egypt, I gotta go to space, I gotta do the all mental. You can go there. So trust me, that's how it's done. Why? That's where he is. He ain't hiding up in the mountains somewhere. He in some cave. Nope. That's the time I got to get. I'm trying to get across to all my ignorant people. I'm not insulting you. I want you to know something so that way you can work from that aspect. That's all. And devotional exercises what? It bestowed gratuitous conditions. Meaning, okay, that means synchronicity is something that just happens. But I did define out this guy from looking at it. But it means auspicious stuff just happens. All of a sudden, you meet the right person. All of a sudden, you see the love of your life. All of a sudden, there's something that happens, okay? That's what you live in. And your life is full of that. When you're not living that way, your life is full of what? Adversities. So this is the difference of adversities. And when you practice and you advance in what your spiritual attainment from studying, living, and learning, and understanding, now you have your experience. God does not grant enlightenment. That's not what he do. But only opens the door, okay, for propitious condition. Again, now he goes against that word again. Propitious conditions. And it includes what? Peace of mind. Encounters with your spiritual preceptor, meaning finding that teacher that from God say, oh man, I'm glad I found you. It's not a coincidence. No, it's a perpetuous condition. And reduction of what? Depression from your egoistic tendencies. The desire to want to do right. The desire to want more. That's aspiring. That's being an aspirant. That's right thinking. That's what we want to do. Why? We want to better ourselves. The ego is comfortable and, man, we good. We got this, we got that. I don't know. I'm good. Okay? That's settling. And that act, what? As an obstacle to your spiritual attainment. If the ego had its way, you wouldn't know God. Ego don't know God. Don't care about God. It's the ego. It done edge God out. It don't have no concept of God. So understand that. That's why it's not good. Okay. If devil is in opposition to God, the ego is the devil. I can see how you can make that symbological connection. I ain't got a problem with that, personally. When divine grace dawns, you, the aspirant, right thinker, gains what? Spiritual truth. Excuse me, spiritual strength. And now increasing your desires to what? To study and practice the teachings that you learn, as well as now you have an increasing pleasure from within and starting to build a fulfillment through what? Through the practice of daily rituals of doing the right thing, living righteous and virtuous, and now there's an increasing what? Dispassion about what? Worldly things, objects, even people, and even your physical desires. You start to get that below the waist control. Okay, now you're raising in consciousness, you're raising in understanding, you're raising to be what? In a minute, not there yet. All the desires. Now, doing these things, divine grace is perpetuated through what? Through your devotion to the divine and the right living, right thinking, right actions, and righteousness, all will be rewarded with blessings. That's divine grace. You earn that from God. He don't just smear it around willy-nilly like spells and spirits. No. That had to be earned by every individual. Hope you get the concept. And it says here, a good ancient proverb from Nashita Meta. Seeketh thou God, thou seekest the beautiful. Okay, you want the best for yourself. One is on the path that leadeth unto it through what? Devotion, joined with knowledge. That's where study comes in. You get knowledge from study and read, and then you can implement what you learn. Now you have wisdom because you had the experience from learning and understanding and implementing in manifestation for yourself. That's an ancient Egyptian proverb from Shita Netta philosophy. Now, devotion to God. That don't mean you running around here, praise the Lord, oh you're talking. No. That's fanatical. That's not devotional. Let me break down devotion to God for you. Devotion to God allows the depth of the teachings of right thinking philosophy for you, to be revealed to you. And by approaching these teachings intellectually, will only what? Promote a superficial understanding. You got that hoity-toity. Yeah, I know, I understand. Watch this. And therefore, you have a limited attainment because you think having knowledge is that's it. Intellectually, study allows the teachings of right thinking philosophy to be thought about what? This thinking process can only become circular if the depth of the teaching is not approached correctly. Again, if you think it's all intellectual, I know this, I know that, I know about this, I know about that, no jack. Okay, that's my point. But devotion, divine love toward God allows what? The depths of the teaching of right thinking philosophy to be approached correctly. In essence, now the teachings what must be felt, I tell you, as well as known. Knowledge ain't power, just having it. Power is in employing it, using it. Intellectual knowledge must be what? Intellectual knowledge is good, but it must be augmented by what? Feelings and experience. That's the understanding of the teachings. To learn it, yeah. To understand, yeah. But until you implement it, you still don't know it. Experience. The feeling aspect of the man is the soul. When tapped into, it does not allow what? The intellectual aspect to become diluted, keeping it pure. In fact, what happens? It will plague the intellect with what? Insecurities, torment, the intellect with doubts until what? The right path is pursued. If you're going through life chasing everything that you don't need, then you ain't found the right path yet. And when the right path is found, what happens? Right path is found and pursued. This is now the deeper conscious. It is spelled Conscience, meaning now it's heartfelt. You have it in here. That's the conscience of a person what? Whose source is their own soul. Starting to realize that. They start to become one. And this cannot occur of the divine feeling is if the divine feeling is what? Is diluted due to what? Ignorance and delusions and worldly desires. Again, you ain't raised your level yet. You still want the ego level. You still want what you want. So you haven't changed. Okay? So you're not devoted to God. Devotional exercise is what? And rituals. Praying, devotional exercises and rituals done daily will allow what? The intellectual teaching to be now what? Experienced as well as thought of and comprehended and reflected on. But you need to do what? Pray and meditate. And the phrase is, oh, behold, thy eye, God's plan. We see God's creation. We see God's magic. We see that. That's God's proof. Okay? Well, we didn't do it. So understand that. But devote thyself to what? Adore God's name. Don't use it in vain. Don't, we got all that. But that's what it translates to you. When you adore God's name, it is God who giveth what? Life to souls of millions of forms, and it is God who magnifieth. Watch this. If this don't get your understanding, it's God who magnifieth whosoever magnifieth God. That means all righteous people praise God, worship God, but are you living according to God's laws? That's the difference. And when you do that, you will be rewarded with what? Blessings. That's divine grace. That's the blessing that you receive for doing what? Showing devotion to God by living, doing, and being. That's how you earn it. And this state of mind is called the superconscious state. I got another one for you right quick. These are concepts that you need to understand and master for yourself. Why? Because these are the things you're going to encounter in life. All this pertaining to you anyway. Superconscious state of mind, aka right thinking philosophy. In order for this process of spiritual evolution to occur, there must be experience. Right there. If you're a Christian, Muslim, or Jew, that third level is the experience, the mystical experience. And with the philosophy again, you must have experience of what? The super consciousness state of mind. You reached past this level, time and space, higher up, you became one. And the mind, listen, it ain't physical. The mind must experience what? Going beyond the bounds of its own constructive, meaning lean not on your own understanding, your own constructed concepts and physical desires of the world of time and space. You got to get past that. And every time you lay down and go to sleep, you're doing that, whether you like it, know it or not. That's what's going on. Otherwise, the teachings and the feeling of what? The spiritual process will remain what? Short of its highest attainment, no matter how pious the person may be or how elevated the mind and the personality may appear to be. Those are the fake phony ones who got you thinking they all this and that, when they say this and do that. No balance. If what they say don't match what they do, don't trust them. There's a lot of that going on. But your job is to see that. It's not mine. I do. I have that problem. All the disciplines, spiritual disciplines, leads to what? I just gave this lesson to a meditative state of mind and a meditative experience in which time and space are transcendent and all encompassing. That means internal existence and unlimited expanded consciousness has been discovered within oneself. All that happens inside of you, first in small measures, in little bits, right? And eventually it go full splendor. That's in the seventh round. That's when it just happens. Even short glimpses, which is merely a preview, which unlocks what? Lifetimes, listen to this, of mental fetterings. That means you done this a few times. It's okay. We all have. Don't feel bad. Like again, they said that she didn't pass the bar the first time. She ain't the only one. It's a whole lot, but she passed. How many I can say that? Moving on. So if you have made a whole bunch of mistakes, yeah, we all have. But when you open up and get that enlightenment, you will solve a whole bunch of mental fetters, meaning you're not doing those things again. I'm not going back to that lifestyle. And it sparks what? The true awakening. That's it. If the final phase of the march towards what? Spiritual awakening is made by you and you only. You are responsible for what you say and what you do. Because at Judgment Day, that's what you're going to be judged on. So get a grip and understand that. Moving on, I got a little more time. I see that. Let's talk about one of my favorites, meditation. I don't hear religions talk about meditation because they don't want you to know God is in you. They want you to believe you chasing God up in the clouds up there, he up in heaven, and waiting for you to come to Peter at the gate. All that nonsense, having passed away. I know Jesus. You don't know Jack, okay? Why? We don't know Jesus. Moving on, but that's a quick joke. But meditation, for me, is the key to opening what? Your mind to the experience of super consciousness. And this can only be achieved when what? The mind and the personality have become cleansed of what? Delusions, passion, attachments for the worldly objects, and physical desires of the flesh. This means you are raising your lower level of pleasures and understanding to the next level up. That's what it means. And this purity, what would it do? Leads to what? Spiritual strength. Excuse me. Right, well, I can't get it, man. In order to attain the highest meditative state, there's 5 categories, but they tell you you can practice any one. Selfish service, devotion to God. I use them all intricately. Why? Because that's they're meant for. If you have mastered all of them, you can use them at your disposal. Just knowing 1 or 2, okay, but you're short on the other one. Learn them all, master them all. Why? You're gonna need them. And when you have a meditative state of concentration and an extended practice of mental focus is required. You have to spend time alone. You have to spend time with your higher self. Instead of just praying on your knees and begging and asking, listen to what he got to say. And you might get some lessons for yourself. That's intuitive knowledge. It's coming from yourself, not from the books. Excuse me. Without mental purity, meaning clearing the mind of ignorant concepts and nonsensical nonsense, okay? That's purity. And now you will have what? Peace of mind to be able to what? Have time for concentration. And now that that's possible, excuse me, without mental purity and peace, concentration is impossible. There we go. There's something working there. Without this, concentration on your higher self is impossible because the ego self is in control, and the super conscious state will elude you, even the cleverest intellect. You will never reach it. Why? Ego sets you back. It's a hindrance. Okay, like the balloon and the anchor. The ego is your anchor. You're the balloon. You need to cut that ego loose. Okay, so you can rise. Wrap it up with spiritual strength. This is the most important part of the spiritual journey through the spiritual path, okay, of enlightenment. Why? Spiritual strength, in order to succeed on the spiritual path, and right thinker, you need spiritual strength. That means that steadfastness, intestinal fortitude, self-respect, pride, call on all those qualities because you're going to need them all. To give you spiritual strength is the strength that emerges when what? The mind is free of ignorance. Whole new world and delusions and ignorant desires and passions. The ignorant, deluded, and passionate mind is a fettered. There you go, my word. I knew it was coming up sooner or later. Why? Because a fettered mind, be it conscious and subtle desires, and it's the misconceptions that you live by. The conscious desires will lead to worldly pursuits. Again, I want that big car. I need a big house. I want everybody to know me. I want to be rich and famous. That's ego. But this process being unfulfilled in life. If you want to be rich and famous and you don't, you feel like you're a failure in life. That is crazy. But a lot of people, again, it's crazy. Why? Leaving when you All these things you're chasing, it leaves residues of unfulfilled desires at time of death, and it also produces what? New subtle desires for other pursuits, meaning it's going to continue on. If this desire did not work, maybe another will. So that means you're going to keep trying the same thing, hoping for a different reaction. Okay? We know that to be what? Insanity. Hold on one second. Excuse me, sorry about that. And remember, example, the deluded mind, my reason thus, if a blue card did not make me happy, well, maybe a red one will. Okay, and these all become lodged in the unconscious level of your mind, desires that you never fulfill. Again, this constitutes a continued fettering of what? Of the mind in the present and even for the future. Thus fetters the mind's power because each subtle desire lacks a portion of what willpower within itself and in the unconscious level mind. So even a person who appears to be free of desires may harbor these in what? The unconscious mind, and thereby be weak-willed, meaning they can subject to backsliding, or they call themselves getting weak. Yeah. Such a person cannot resist what? Those worldly desires, nor can they sit still for meditation time because thoughts constantly emerge to disturb the mind. Again, agitated mind. And even if thought did not seem to be emerging at some particular time, there are energy disturbances throughout the body, and there is illusionary discomfort, and the person claims they cannot succeed in meditating. I ain't got time for that. Man, again, a bunch of excuses. So mental restlessness is a big problem due to the subtle desires of what? Your energies must be resolved. That lower nature got to be and cleansed and transcended by what? The higher nature, the mind. In order to succeed on the spiritual path, this have to be done right quick. A, practice devotion to God. B, practice right action. C, practice dispassion and detachment from the worldly things and objects. D, practice the attachment of the teachings that you're learning, right thing philosophy. E, repeated effort in the above AD until there are ultimate success. Meaning you keep doing it until it works. It will if you keep at it. Trust me. Persistent inconsistency, perseverance will make it to the top. Okay, the race to life ain't won by the swift. It's those who put their time in and show due diligence. And in closing the lesson, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100, me 100 minus a day. So I never know that right thinkers like you passed away. I'll be right back.